What's going on, YouTube? Fight on 5-2 here. All right, this is a video response to huffboyrd's contest. He asked for three things. First, who's our favorite athlete of all time? What's our favorite movie? And what's our favorite video game? So, I mean, you guys already know that I'm a huge Bo Jackson fan, as you can see by my background of just Bo stuff. So yeah, my favorite athlete of all time is Bo Jackson. And I mean, all around athlete, I mean, I have a case. I mean, this guy played football and baseball professionally and was an all-star in both, which is unheard of. So, I mean, the guy he dominated. When I was a kid, Bo Jackson was it. I mean, Bo Jackson uh, dominated two sports, and it was so fun to watch because like you see the guy playing football, and then you see the guy playing baseball. I mean, he was all over the place, and he was good at it. So, I mean, yeah, he's my favorite athlete of all time. But I guess what would be more fun, since you guys know that Bo Jackson's my favorite athlete of all time, obviously, um, is to think of something or someone else um, that I think is a great athlete. Um, and I mean, honestly, it is really hard. It's a really hard thing to do. I mean, for me, because it's so hands down Bo Jackson for me. Um, I don't know. I think um, if I had to pick someone, dang. I mean, I can't. It's weird. Like I have like a really hard time finding a number two. Um, but I think um, just because he's one of my guys, someone else that I just admired so much growing up, I'm gonna go with Ken Griffey Jr. And uh, I mean, a lot of you guys um, would totally disagree with that. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., the greatest athlete of all time, but I mean, he was easily the best baseball player of my generation. I mean, I literally grew up my entire life watching Ken Griffey Jr. play baseball, and I mean, he had a stint there where he was like the best, and he was gonna be the best. If he would have kept pace and not gotten injured, I mean, he would be the guy that we would be talking about right now, breaking like tons of baseball records, and just I think he just had one of the sweetest swings. I mean, I honestly, it's to the point where like I would rather watch Ken Griffey Jr. stand in the box and strike out than watch Albert Pujols hit a home run. I mean, it's that impressive to me. I mean, the guy he looked like baseball. He acted like baseball. He grew up with baseball. I mean, the guy, he's one of the greats. And so for me, it can't be denied that Ken Griffey Jr. is not one of the most exciting and talented athletes of my generation. So I'm going to go with Ken Griffey Jr., I guess, is my number 2. So this is actually becoming a really long video because I am an idiot and had a hard time thinking of a number 2 behind Bo Jackson. But so next up, um, I'll go with video games. So um, the obvious choices for me would be like, Bo Jackson was like the most uh, unbeatable character with Tecmo Bowl. I mean, Bo Jackson was twice as fast as any other guy on the game, and so that's got to be one of my top games of all time, just because of that. I love, like, I'll show this, the NES Bo Jackson Baseball. This was actually a pretty horrible game. It wasn't that good, but for me, I just loved the game just because it was Bo Jackson. But what I'd like to show you guys is, like, um, I know Scootley has made a comment or a response video, and he mentioned the Commodore 64. And yeah, I mean, I had a Commodore 64, and I had all those games that you talked about. I loved the summer games, winter games, and I loved it. So, I mean, I kind of clumped those all together. But a game that I played like solid, and I used to take this on road trips and just everywhere with me, is this. It's a Tiger handheld, and it is of Bo Jackson, obviously. Bo Jackson football, baseball. And literally, guys, I would spend hours. I mean, look at it's just like a green screen, and just, I mean, I can turn it on, but you guys can see, I mean, it's so boring to look at, but at the same time, just, I mean, I was just enthralled with this game. And like, you play this way if you want to play football, and then you'd flip it around and you'd play this way if you wanted to play baseball. And just the fact that it was like two games in one was just awesome. Here, I'll do a little. Oh, totally got hit. Uh, but I mean, I used to play this for just hours on road trips, and I mean, it was just so fun to play. So I'm gonna put this at the top. Bo Jackson football, baseball, Tiger handheld as my favorite video game of all time. And I agree though with Carl's video, NBA Jam. I really liked the arcade version of NBA Jam, because the arcade version had Shaquille O'Neal on it, and the console games didn't have Shaq. For some reason, they didn't get the rights for him or something. But in the arcade, there was Shaq, and you could be Shaq and Anthony Hardaway, and that was just a dominant duo. Like, you couldn't go wrong with Shaq and Penny. So that's another one, and another game that I just. Well, I'm gonna do two more games. Next up is for Nintendo 64. Was GoldenEye. I freaking loved GoldenEye, and I seriously got really good at it. And I don't really get into like those shooter games. But that was one that I got into and I got good at, and so I loved GoldenEye. Um, but one game that I specifically remember like spending like all night playing constantly was the first Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I mean, for PlayStation, that that Tony Hawk was awesome. I mean, it blew my mind from like the other skateboarding games that I had like grown up playing. Like this one, like far surpassed it, and it was really fun to play. I mean, I knew nothing, like absolutely nothing about skateboarding, and it made me literally made me want to like know more about skateboarding just because this game was so fun. Like I wanted to learn like what the tricks names were and stuff like that. So super fun. Plus, the first Tony Hawk Pro Skater had the Burnside level in Portland. So it was actually a place that I had seen before, and so that was a pretty cool aspect about that game too. So anyway, so on to movies. So I mean, with this trend, yeah, Bo Jackson's one of my favorite athlete of all time. Bo Jackson, football, baseball, Tiger Handheld's my favorite video game. My favorite movie is probably Bo Knows Bo, which is like the story of Bo Jackson with all his highlights. But I'm gonna go with like my favorite movie of all time. It's the same as Carl's, and that's Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber literally is the funniest movie of all time. I would pay a large sum of money if I could go back and watch Dumb and Dumber again for the first time. I laughed so hard. I was laughing so hard, and I was like having such a good time, but I was laughing so hard that it like got to the point where I started to like panic because I wasn't breathing, and I literally thought I was going to pass out and die. Like it went from like hysterical laughter to like scared that I wasn't going to take another breath ever again in my life. So I mean, like I almost started to get mad at the movie for being so hilariously funny because like Carl said, there's no scene in the movie that's not funny. So like before I could even get over the last scene and how funny it was, I was getting karate chopped to the face with a new funny scene that I couldn't I just couldn't handle it. So yeah, Dumb and Dumber is my favorite movie of all time, and it's so quotable. I mean, you hear people quoting Dumb and Dumber constantly. It's like that well known. Just a great movie. I love Dumb and Dumber, and this is a. It's already up to 14 minutes. A 14-minute video response. So huffboyrd, throw my name in the hat, and yeah, that's my video response. So thanks for doing the contest, and you guys should all do a video of your favorite athlete of all time, favorite movie, and favorite video game. Thanks for watching, guys.